There is no time to waste for Ruben Amorim as he's taking on a huge, the biggest football club in the world. Can you imagine? Just from such a hard-fought win over Bodo Glimt in his first home game in charge of Man United, the guy today, just a couple of hours ago, has been addressing the press in his pre-match press conference ahead of the next game on Sunday. That's Everton, guys. There is no resting, but there will be good news to calm him down because an important, promising young talent has today officially kick-started his professional contract as a Manchester United player, and now the plan is to talk about, well, there is also lots of talk about the prospective new signings that Ruben Amorim will bring in at Man United, and all of it is ready for us to devour and, of course, dive into here on the United Hot Spot. My name is Webb. Like, share, and guys, subscribe. Thank you so much, all of you who like our videos, because when you like our videos, it makes the algorithm to recommend them and share them more to other viewers so that they reach more people. But also, when you subscribe, it certainly makes us grow bigger and better. And certainly that's why I want to head to. Now, let's get proper into it. Today, as our young sensation, whom we watched from Arsenal, Chido Obi Martin officially turned 17. Guess what? He signed his professional contract. It is his first professional contract as a footballer. You do know that you can only sign a professional contract when you're 17 and above. And the agreement that Chido Obi had with Man United when they were poaching him from Arsenal was that the moment he turns 17 and kickstarts his professional, he turns 17, his professional contract should, of course, automatically roll on. So officially, he's a professional footballer. He has scores, including a hat trick on his debut with the under 18s at Man United. And his signing, of course, many of you might say he's only a kid. But listen, the moment you sign a professional contract, it's a confirmation that the club holds you in high regard. We're talking of a kid who is a star before he's a star. Why? On his Instagram already, he has got 300,000 followers. I think only Lamine Yamal in his age bracket can beat him. These young kids, of course, and a couple of kids from Barcelona, but the point is, most of these young kids do not really get this attention unless they've broken into the senior team. But this boy is yet to break into the Man United senior team, but is already attracting a lot of following and attention on himself now. And now that he has signed his professional contract, it does give Ruben Amorim a lot of options. Of course, there is already talks about players that Amorim might want to bring in the summer. I heard David Ornstein speak about uh, Liam Delap, the guy who was making us run like slaves in the game against Ipswich. He's a new guy in this Ipswich team in the Premier League, but boy, he's quite a baller. But Man City has got a buyback clause in his contract because he was a Man City player, then they loaned him all through Stoke City, Hull, and Preston, and named them before he landed in Ipswich this year. But Man United and several other clubs already say to be showing interest in him. But I'll tell you, before we even think of him, because he's a forward, an English-born 21-year-old forward, I'll talk about him and more of the other signings that Ineos might be looking at to bring in for Ben Amorim. But for me, Chido Obi's signing of a professional contract is something that could actually give us an option of a backup for Rasmus Højlund, because clearly is not really in big plans of Ruben Amorim and co. Unless he works so hard on himself. And of course, this is part of why Ruben Amorim is there to improve individual players, because most of the players who are signed recently are within the improvement age, the age where they can still learn a thing or two and improve themselves for a good future at Man United. So it's actually still in there. But will he get the opportunity to work on himself when Rasmus Højlund is scoring goals for fun, when Mason Mount is getting heaps of praises, when Garnacho is being, of course, arrogant and going on his socials and is saying he will continue doing what he does? It's quite interesting. It's quite difficult to tell. But the thing is, Amorim will be happy about the professional contract for Chido Obi because now he can comfortably call upon this kid because he's a pro footballer of Man United. So beautiful stuff there. Now, after Chido, very important now because I told you Amorim and Ineos are now focusing on the youngins or the youngsters. So Amad Diallo's contract is next on table. The talks will begin because clearly Amad has already cemented himself as an important player for Ruben Amorim. So Amadi's contract talks are about to begin as well. Remember, his contract runs out at the end of the summer. There should be an option of a further year, but they've got to negotiate new terms with him. just like they did with Kobe and of course Garnacho earlier on. Now Chido Obi, so Ahmad is next in line. The future of Man United is being secured, and that's exactly what you expect them to be doing now, especially given the promise being shown by the new boss. Because I think Ineos should be happy about the Amorim's start. They should be happy about how things have fared in his start. Of course, the ideal would be winning against Ipswich, but guys, first Premier League game on the road, which is not a walk in the park. We're talking a team whose manager is a former head coach of the same Man United players. It wouldn't have been a walk in the park. We've got to live beyond that and judge Amorim based on his past performance. And I'll tell you, people are trying to disparage it and undermine the performance because it was a certain one Bodo Glimt for whom a team most people claim not even to know where it came from. But listen, there are no errors in Europe. You don't get there by mistake. They are there because they are good enough and they proved it. So I think for me, we cannot water down the Ruben Amorim victory. However hard earned it was, because we are still on the road to where we want to be, to utopia. Now, Amorim today has spoken his press conference before the Everton game, and obviously we expect to hear him speak again before the game. And he has spoken about, of course, the rotation. And when you have so many interviews, you end up regurgitating the same things, saying the same things, and you can't blame him. But he has been honest with talking about players, again speaking highly about Mason Mount and how he has proved to be a quality player. He's a Champions League winner, and in the 60 minutes he was intense, and we saw it because one of the things Amorim pushed his players to do against Bodo Glimt was pressing high, and they were quite high in their press, and it gifted an early goal. So part of that, I think, was because of Mount and the pressure he was mounting on the opposition. Wow, that sounds nice, doesn't it? Mount and the pressure he was mounting. I'll say it again, and I've said it here consistently that one of the reasons why Mount was signed because of his high press, and Eric Ten Hag was unfortunate that he didn't get him. Even now, Amorim is also trying to hope that he can be fit. He keeps saying the same thing, that the first thing is for him to be fit and stay fit. But to do that, they are coming up. For me, that's what I like most about the things he's saying lately. That he's trying to come up with solutions to try to manage the injuries at the club. Because and of course the lack of fitness, because the games are too intense. So instead of being a crybaby, creatively come up with solutions to manage the players so that players don't get tired. And the best solution to that is having a squad that you can comfortably rotate, but you keep playing at the topmost level. I think for me that's commendable, because it doesn't make sense for you to have a squad of about 25 or so players, but because of the intensity of the Premier League, you keep complaining of how players are tired because the fixture pile is too much. Yet you have all 25 players, and you're only using a few players to play. You just manage them so that everyone can play and make a contribution to the team. Keep them all happy and good enough, because they're all Man United players, whereas there will be a few who are exceptional from the rest. Most of the players should be able to come in and fit into what you build as a manager or as a coach, and be able to deliver, especially in the small games, because the smaller games are more. And by small, of course, you would say there are no small games at this stage, and I would get it. But I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, in terms of opposition, the lesser oppositions are more than the big oppositions. So your high quality, best quality players can always be kept fresh for the big games, the Arsenal games, the bogey sides, because each team always has a bogey side. For your bogey side, for your Liverpool game, for a derby, for a Man City game, for a Chelsea, and and a few Aston Villas, a few season poppers. Keep your best players always fit for those, and use the rest of the squad for the other lesser games. That's rotation. So that way, you won't be coming out every day to complain about players not being fit because of fixture intensity, because it's not about to reduce anyway. That's what defines the Premier League. You've got to be a manager or a head coach who finds solutions. And Amorim has spoken about that. And for me, it was my take home from the press conference ahead of the Everton game, that he insists he will rotate and try to make sure all players are good enough to come in and be able to deliver and give solid performances for the team. For me, that's a big win. Of course, we'll preview this game more before Sunday. That's tomorrow. Of course, even later, maybe tonight, I will be back with more. But I just want to give you some bit of that news today. Garnacho has said he will keep doing his thing the way he does it. I'm doing my thing. Kids of today, they want to know, man. They don't want to know. They will keep doing what they want to do, how they want to do it, the way they want to do it, when they want to do it. And you can as well, they'll just tell you to go to hell if you want to. They don't care. Kids of today. But that's the kid, man. He's got to be managed while on the pitch. I think at a certain point, we've got to admit that Garnacho is one of our better players, and he has earned the right to be there and make mistakes, but still be put there. We only hope that he will improve over time with Ruben Amorim. That's all we need to say. But that's what he has assured us, that he will keep doing his thing the way he does it. Liam Delap, do we need him? Not quite yet. We'll talk about these speculations more because they're coming from credible sources in David Ornstein and so. But Chido Obi is here. Who needs Liam Delap? Don't tell me about him. Catch you later, fam.